What does look like real unconscious competence in NLP, and how can you know if you are getting closer to this damn unconscious competence or if it is still far away? And even if it is far away, don't worry, at the end of the video you will have a specific clue to help you keep being motivated even if you're not making that many progress right now. Everybody has heard, I think, at this point of the concept of conscious incompetence, conscious competence, blah blah blah, until unconscious competence, where the experts are, because they don't think anymore about what they do, it is just flowing automatically, or they intuitively know how to move if they are athletes, they can play without thinking if they are musicians. And what is it specifically with NLP, and how will you know once you have it? Before that, one quick word about the community I just launched, which I'm pretty proud of. We are a few members already. There is a link down below. It is a community around NLP practices where you can ask your questions, have some role playing if you are struggling with conversational skills, being able to be more fluent with language patterns, or understanding how to shift your internal states, all of that, and understanding all the NLP tools you don't understand yet. The link is down below if you want to have a look at it. It is every Thursday we have a private lecture or private call where I teach things privately in the member dashboard, and then there are some Q&A. You can join us at any moment. Now, getting back to the unconscious competence with NLP. What's going to happen from my experience is that you are increasing progressively when you study and practice with NLP skills, whether it is on yourself to change your own states, or with other people because you want to become a coach or you want to get more sales, anything like that. Basically, you are going to improve your awareness of what is happening inside yourself and what is happening with the people you are influencing. Because, for example, just with calibration skills, reading people's body language, people in NLP, usually beginners, they miss so much of all the clues that their clients are sending, and they miss all of that information. What's going to happen is that you are going to see and hear so much more of that when you really become advanced with NLP. You will grasp so many of those cues, like the vein on the neck that is getting filled with blood when people are getting angry. Those little things, you're going to spot them so much more than many things you say to change other people's minds will just be automatic, and you won't even know where you get that from. Some people think it is like a spiritual, sixth sense, something coming from the universe or whatever. Maybe it is. I don't have the theoretical background into spiritual stuff. Maybe it is. My point is, maybe it's just purely scientific too. It is just that your mind is grasping so many signals that you were not grasping before, because your attention was way too much focused into your own head instead of on the other people in front of you. The same thing in martial arts. One big practice with meditation and yoga back in the early days when they developed martial arts was to become able to get out of your own head, out of the fear of getting hurt, projecting your attention outside and being so aware of every micro movement of the opponent that you could always react accordingly based on what they were doing. Same thing in the end with less violence, same thing in the end with NLP skills. You will just have somebody in front of you and you catch so much of their vocal tonality, in a whole sentence they are going to have a voice inflection on one specific word. When you can catch all those things, and when you become advanced with NLP, you don't even need to focus on it anymore because it is automated, unconscious competence, then you just react accordingly. You just develop a social intelligence that makes you know what to say to whom at every moment, all the time, even if you are not really focused on the person. That is being advanced with NLP. One hypnotist I heard recently was one trainer I heard recently was explaining that during a demonstration with a client in front of an audience, he was demonstrating some hypnosis protocol, and the protocol was getting stuck because it was in a ceiling to remove dirty stuff from the ceiling, some hypnotic stuff. And the client at some point was getting stuck because she could not get out of the attic or above the ceiling. She could not get out, and something in her unconscious mind was stuck. And he said, I felt like I had been hit by grace or by divine intervention or whatever, because I said the exact right thing, which was about her sister, whereas I had no knowledge, no conscious knowledge of her sister, but I said, maybe your sister can help you during the demonstration. And the sister was actually the whole key to this whole situation where the client was stuck. He did not even know where this came from. But that is what I'm saying. Some people think it is supernatural, it is spiritual. Maybe it is, I don't know. I just think it may also be just our unconscious minds that are communicating with brainwaves, and we may spot things, but you open the canal, you spot much more of those things when you train yourself to pay much more attention to all those subtle signals that people are giving off all day long with their eye contact, with their muscles around their eyes, not my sunburn right here, but the muscles around the eyes, all the things, all the breathing pattern, at which moment are they stopping to breathe. Right now it is easy to spot because I'm forcing it, but some people, when you say something, they will catch their breath and they will stop breathing. If you can pay attention to this, you will just grasp so many more of all the things people are doing inside their head that they are not clearly saying. And quite often it will also sound like mind reading because you are actually understanding things that they don't know about themselves. That is the whole other component. Now, where does that fit into the personal work? Because neuro-linguistic programming is partly about changing others, but a big part is about changing yourself. That comes with it because when you have been investigating yourself and dig deep enough into yourself, then it will be way easier to do the same thing with other people. The level of depth you go at with yourself, with your own problems, and in the beginning it is uncomfortable, it is scary, you don't like doing it because it is opening up vulnerabilities, fears you don't want to talk about because you are a strong person. Yeah, but you're scared shitless down there, and we are all the same down there. There's nobody really above that. People can be good at hiding it, but everybody once in a while is feeling deeply scared about something, whatever it is. Some people it is relationships, some people it is their career, whatever it is. Everybody is experiencing some really deep fears that just get them back into their childhood, early memories of being frightened of the dark, stuff like that. We all experienced it. And when you investigate that enough in yourself, and okay, it is uncomfortable in the beginning, I know. When you investigate that enough in yourself, then you will do the same thing with other people without forcing them. You're not like, oh, I see you are hiding something. You don't need to push them, but you will know. You will always know very clearly, that person right here is hiding something about his sister or whatever, his brother, whatever the thing is. You will just have the intuition of that. You will develop the intuition. The deeper you go with yourself, the easier it is to understand what people don't say. And when you know what they don't say, you have an edge over them to influence them positively or to get out of very negative relationships if you are trapped and don't really know how to get out. If you have been digging deep down enough with yourself, it is really easy to spot those things from the people around you. So that is why it goes that fast when a master of NLP is on stage and demonstrating, because if it is really a master, it means they have acquired such a level of skills with reading people, with understanding the unconscious mind of the people around them, that they know intuitively what to say from the get-go. First 2-3 phrases or like the first 5 minutes of questioning their client, and they already know basically, even if they don't know it consciously, but their mind is already starting to get through the whole path to get to the core of the problem with their client, and they're going to say the exact right thing. And from the outside, from the audience, you're like, oh, he said this and this and that. So if I say the same things, this and this and that, people will change. No, it is not that simple. It is the case with the person you have been witnessing right here, because the trainer, if it is really a competent one, the trainer or the NLP master just has too much experience and has been elaborating, has been crafting the things he was saying, the suggestions, the embedded commands, all of that based on what he saw and what he heard from the person in front of him. So it is more an adaptation skill than really memorizing the best phrases or whatever. The whole practicing processes, basic anchoring, this is the foundation. You need to get through this to have all the foundations. Then later, when you're really advanced, first of all of those basic processes are getting unconscious competence by themselves. And on top of that, you just develop that's almost supernatural intuition, where you always know what to say to people to make them change, and you always have the right intuition with yourself for when I am stuck somewhere. If I am stuck with this problem with that person, doesn't mean you won't have any problems anymore, because life is always evolving. So new situations are arising that you didn't know before, stuff like that. But you will always have the right intuition for, okay, I am stuck in this, with this goal, with this outcome, with this housing problem, whatever. You will already have an intuition for how can I tweak my mind to find a solution for this problem. This will be much more advanced in yourself when you get there. The problem with many people is that they want to acquire all those advanced skills, but they lose courage, they lose motivation after the first 2 or 3 failures, if we can call it that way, or just they are not having the results, the progress they were expecting in the very beginning, and they feel discouraged. That usually happens if you are putting too much pressure on the goal you have with NLP. If you want to become a professional coach, if you want to hypnotize anybody in the street right away, yeah, those things will come, but later. They will come once you have enough acuity on people. Same thing, I get all the time this question by guys who ask me, like, they send me some of those clips with a hypnotist in the street, street hypnosis, and hypnotizing people with just one handshake, and now, poof, sleep. And I always tell them the same thing, because they ask me, oh, so what is the specific script he has been using? So if I say the same thing, is it going to work with people? And I'm like, okay, first of all, on a street hypnosis, those guys are hitting many people before finding the right subjects. But despite that, even without that, there is just so much acuity that comes in for an advanced hypnotist and street hypnosis too. Just having been interacting with so many people and presenting them the idea of hypnosis, and the way you explain what it is, and the way you surf around the resistance of people who say, oh, but isn't it manipulative, isn't it bad? And the way you surf around all those objections and limiting beliefs, that is what creates the success of the basic handshake interrupt, where you just say, hello, sleep. Yes, that will happen when you can read people from even before you start the induction or the process or whatever. The way you have been interacting with them is how you pre-frame them to obey the suggestions. And if it is, you're going to tell me eventually, oh yeah, but on stage they don't speak with everybody, they just make people go on stage and they don't speak with them and they sleep. Yes, and on stage what happens is that they have 500 people in front of them, and they are going to select maybe 10 to 20 people out of the 500. In your opinion, who are the 10 or 20 people? In your opinion, they are the most receptive people out of the audience. So obviously those guys, when they go on stage, yes, it works extremely fast because they are the 1% of hyper receptive people. It's not going to work like that with anybody randomly in the street. It can work like that with anybody. If the person who was maybe not that receptive is being trained, is compliant, that person wants to become more receptive and you work with them, eventually in that case, yes. At that level, yeah, anybody can do what you see people go through on stage with hypnosis. But in the beginning, when you just encounter people in a cold way in the streets, it is never going to be that fast. It is that fast with some people, and you increase your level of success with that kind of hypnosis when you have been going through so many failed attempts and rejections that you can just spot right away who is going to fall into trance, who is not going to fall into trance. And you just go to the people that you already know intuitively are going to be super receptive. I have that intuition at this point after years and years. People who have been practicing hypnosis for a while, they have the same intuition. We just know by seeing how much people stare, how much they defocus their eyes. We just know if they are going to fall deeply into a trance fast or not. That comes when you are advanced. If you want to practice those skills, if you want to develop that knowledge and all this expertise, you can join us on the community down below in the description. It's called the NLP Next Gen community, where we have a talk every Thursday, and you can just exchange with us, ask all your questions and have answers for all the pitfalls or the problems you are experiencing, and you will have great guidance and some hidden material in the dashboard. I will see you very soon there, and thank you for watching.